Hey, welcome to New Jump City, everybody, where we recap the week in American and Japanese sequential art. I am your host, Christian Espinal, and joining me through Discord, it is my partner in crime, the man, the myth, the legend. It is Joshua Gangsta Time Cole.
Called partner, but it should be called Gangsta Time.
What up, Chris?
Hello,
What
friend.
up, Brian?
Yeah.
What up, Saints Hat?
What?
What up, Michael Thomas? I bet vacation is nice.
Oh, doing the Saints hat. Yeah, I mean, they're out. I just like this hat.
Yeah, they ain't Cabo right now.
Yeah, for sure. Also joining us, it is my brother, the producer of this show. It is Edgelord Big News Brian.
What's up, nerds?
I don't know, man. This new soundboard, because our old one got wiped out, it's kind of throwing me off, so I got to find your respective sounds. It takes a minute, but we're making it work. We got a fun show this week, so let's get right into plugs. You can find me at the Chris Espinal on Twitter and Instagram. Joshua Cole, where can they find you?
That's at JD Cole _37.
That's on Instagram. Yeah. I was the whole time I was just like, when is it coming? I was really on the edge of my seat. I suddenly got anxious. This is a problem. Brian, where can they find you?
Find me at b.esp on both Instagram and Twitter. And if I ever decide to stream, you can find me at twitch.tv/itspunchline.
Yeah. You can follow the show itself at New Jump City on Twitter and Instagram. Follow our theme song guy. He is at drum_foo. Very talented gentleman, as you could hear. I mentioned the show earlier. Follow us there because we do a weekly audience poll for audience decided a really good chapter of the week. I have the results right here, and we'll get into them later. But yeah, follow us on Twitter. Keep up with the poll. It comes up every Sunday, like a couple hours after the chapters drop on the Shonen Jump app. Not a free plug for them. They got to sponsor us. But yeah, that's when it goes. So follow us on there, Instagram as well. We do some fun stuff on there. You can email us at newjumpcitypod@gmail.com with any questions, suggestions, anything you guys want to talk to us about. Or you can comment below. Let us know how you feel. We'll respond. We'll still talk to you. We're not big cheese yet. We'll talk to the fans. And
for yourself, Chris.
I do. We had some folks commenting on World Trigger and Boruto stuff, so you know.
Yeah, that was really cool, guys.
Yeah, keep it up.
We love the conversation.
Faux show. Anything else? Subscribe to us if you're watching us on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button and the bell to get notifications from when we upload videos. Or if you prefer an audible medium, then check us out on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcast, Amazon Music, wherever you listen to podcasts. Pandora, we're on that now. We're everywhere. We're growing and we're spreading. So let's get on it. Subscribe to us there. Give us a 5-star review on iTunes. And without further ado, let's jump into it. It is time to randomize. America, fuck yeah! Jujutsu Kaisen.
Whoa.
Yeah. This is Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 136, the Shibuya Incident, part 53. Officially, I mean, like, this story has literally been, this is a year-long arc. So congratulations to Jujutsu Kaisen.
Let's go.
Last we left off.
Yeah. Oh, my RGC, by the way.
Oh. All right, cool. Damn.
Certified RGC. Certified RGC.
Certified RGC.
Yeah.
You're not getting a unanimous one today.
Nah.
That's fine.
I honestly thought we would.
As long as we don't give it to someone that don't deserve it.
Yeah. Yo, you throwing subs early, bro?
All day.
In any case, this is Jujutsu Kaisen, chapter 136. Josh's really good chapter of the week. Last we left off, Yuki showed up, a character that we spent maybe all of one chapter with in a flashback. She's back, and she's the trainer of Todo, our favorite boy in the series, or at least mine. He's the man.
Yeah, it's up there. It's one of the cooler characters. You already know Gully McGangster. I'm working on it.
I like it, Gully McGangster. That might be the episode
You know what I'm
title.
saying?
It's already early running.
I don't know about that one.
It's already early running.
Yeah, you know, he the archetype, you know.
For sure. So, you know, she's like talking to Ghetto about their conversation about how to create a world where curses no longer exist, because they have kind of dueling philosophies about how to rid the world of curses. But really what she's doing, she's just kind of buying time for LaRue to move. I'm not really sure who LaRue is. I don't really recall. But
yeah, it's kind of like fulfilling two roles. Like it's literally buying time for the heroes against the villain, and it's also maintaining plot integrity with her, you know, with her ideals still being, I guess, somewhat ambiguous even after reading this chapter.
Yeah,
I don't know how you feel about that, but you know, there's still a lot of stuff to learn about her as far and what motivates her.
For
anyway.
sure. But she basically says, like, the next stage of humanity lies in breaking away from cursed energy. And Ghetto didn't like that. He said, no, it lies in optimizing. It lies in optimizing cursed energy. This is the angriest I've seen Ghetto this entire arc. He's literally like, this motherfucker just said that. I said no, you gotta optimize it. And Itadori is in the back like, well, I don't get either way. I don't understand this shit. Same. Same, Itadori. No, I get it to a degree, but I feel a little bit in the same boat. But, you know, they start talking about, like, their various philosophies. Yuki basically talks about how, like, well, I came back to the original principles. Besides, your method has a big hole in it. Compared to Japan, there's not many jujutsu sorcerers overseas. So, you know, we would pretty much be in a weird monopoly of cursed energy.
Interesting.
Yeah. And you know who's not going to like that? The Middle East and a certain superpower.
Yeah, you know they're going to be feeling some type of way.
Dude.
I feel some type of way. You know what I'm saying? And this is a fake story.
Yo, we may be in Biden era, but Biden's not going to sit by and be like,
oh, we're so arrogant.
Excuse me? They have monsters in Japan? I don't like it.
We want it.
Yeah. So, you know, she's basically like, once they hear that we have, like, this cursed energy and it's basically superpowers to a later extent, they're not going to be stoked on it. So, you know, there's probably going to be a lot of war and all that stuff. And that is a world that is far removed from the ideal that's pursued, which makes sense because curses are born out of negative energy. And if there's constant war, if you optimize cursed energy and try to, like, make it your own and tame it, you just kind of bring unwanted attention from other folks that don't have it. And that just breeds conflict, hence creating more curses and shit. So, yeah. Ghetto does.
Luckily, that's exactly what Ghetto wants.
Yeah, luckily, Ghetto's like, yeah. Where I don't see the issue. What's the issue?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right. That's that. Now you're getting it. Basically, it's what he's like.
Well, this is how shit really gets popping.
Yeah.
I mean, I fuck shit up until things get so fucked up and out of hand that we have no idea how to fix anything and make anything, you know, static and, you know, maintained.
Yeah.
That's when the little cool things are at.
Basically, I mean, I'm a little bit shaking on what his actual, like, method is here, because Ghetto's, like, wanted to get rid of curses, but at the same time, he's like, I just want there to be so many curses. You know, it's weird. I think, like, his whole
it's
thing.
Because you can't have curses without, like, all right. So he wants a world where there's only jujutsu sorcerers, right? And you can't have jujutsu sorcerers without curses. So in order for there to be, like, in order for human beings to evolve in his standard of human beings evolving is through cursed energy, there has to be curses for them to, you know, become jujutsu sorcerers, right?
I guess. I mean, it's a weird paradoxical thing either way.
The way I interpret it is that he wants to use humans as the conduit to crank shit up to 1,000. That's how I see it. You know, that's all he sees humans as. Like, you know, not like something that he sees as precious or valuable that he wants to bring to the next level. They're just a means to the end. Like, oh well, we can't have cursed. Because that's really how the conversation went earlier, in my opinion, with her in the previous chapter, where, you know, you can't have cursed energy without humans with negative thoughts, you know, in the first place. The animals can't produce it, right?
Yeah.
As far as I know. So I do feel what you're saying, and I think, and you know, just like with a lot of other things that was introduced recently in the series, I'm going to give them a chance.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying that like I'm lost and it's a negative thing. It's like I think maybe it'll be a little more clear, but for what it seems like, he's trying to make more of a crazy environment. Like he thinks like there should be kind of a harmonious life between curses and cursed energy and all that stuff. Where like, yeah, I don't know. I guess like he sees chaos as a kind of piece of serenity of some sort. Where he's like, yeah, we're all coexisting. It's gonna be shit, but you know what? This is the best way to go. I guess. I don't know. It's weird. But in any case, he's like, I already have extracted the cursed technique, and then that's when Yuki's like, wait a minute. There's a cursed spirit called Mahito, right? And Itadori's like, yeah, he just absorbed him. Shit! They turn around and Geto activates his idol transfiguration. And they're like, wait, what the fuck is this? And Geto's like, thank you, Yuji Itadori. Basically because, like, he wanted to get Mahito at some point, but he wanted him to get stronger, and he got stronger while he was fighting Itadori, and that made him kind of perfect for the absorption. So he's like, so sick, this worked out for me. You pushing Mahito to the limit pretty much helped me out a lot. I'm like, shit. So what?
He was a whole ass villain, but whatevs.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so basically, what he did was he remotely cast an idol transfiguration on two types of non-sorcerers who had already been marked. There are people who he had eat cursed objects like Yuji did with the fingers, or people who with cursed techniques whose brains were not meant to be sorcerers, like Yoshino from way early. He basically turned people into. He basically forced people's minds to be akin to, I guess, cursed energy. A lot like Junpei was, Yoshino was. He created a bunch of Yoshinos, basically. And he gave them to he adjusted their brains for sorcery. He gave the strength as vessels for, for the cursed objects they ate. To the latter, he gave them the capacity to use cursed techniques. And he takes out this little rope, this little knot, and he splits it apart. And with that, he's broken the seal on the cursed objects. So they've activated. There's a bunch of people out there who are basically an army of Yujis. And he's basically going to have them fight each other in order to help them deeper understand their cursed energy. Jesus.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a good way to keep the story going, I guess, in a way, because now there's a new objective, there's new enemies to potentially face. New
allies.
Mm-hmm. Yuki's like 1,000. That's not that many. You think people will just kill each other because they have the power? Geto's like, yeah, pretty much. That's kind of my plan. And that pisses off Yuki.
He said, your questions are starting to lack perspicacity.
Perspicacity. Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Perspicacity, yeah.
I hate when words are run into the next.
It's because oh man, I couldn't put it together because there's no two different.
I swear to God, guys, we can read. I swear we can read.
I'm just speaking multi-syllabic phrases. I swear I can. I do want to look up that word though.
Go for it. So I guess the ice melts around Yuji, and everyone's like, "Wait, what happened?" And it turns out Choso's blood was mixed with poison, so it kind of started to.
Got it?
Yeah, it really got her because he hit her earlier in the match with his blood with that arrow thing, so it eroded at her slowly until she was like unable to use her curse technique, which is pretty cool.
She was so cool, casually blocking out with her hand.
Yeah.
Hold that.
Yo, she was like, she wanted all of the smoke. Urame did. So I guess Yuki summons her. What was that Pokemon? The dragon Pokemon from Emerald version?
Rayquaza.
Yeah, her Rayquaza curse.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're about to fight. Everybody's like, "Oh shit, I think we're good now. We could just fight." Sick. But Geto has another trump card under his sleeve as he explains that the cursed objects that he provided what's left of the sorcerers, he made the cursed objects that he gave to these people and force fed them basically are what's left of sorcerers that he made vows with a millennium ago. But he didn't just make a contract with them. He made a contract with other things. But those vows became null when he had tamed that body. And at that moment, just a bunch of curses just spring out from under the ground. These are the curses that like he made vows with. And now those vows are null and void because he has this body. So they're all just like, they're a big army of fucking gross monsters emerges. And I guess it allows Geto to not only escape, but escape with Geto. Escape with Gojo, actually.
Gojo.
In the prison realm. And as he walks away, Aizen style, he says, "I expect much from you. Are you listening, Sukuna? It is beginning once again, the world of Heian, the golden age of cursed techniques." And that's where the chapter ends.
Is it so? It's Sukuna? That's how you say it?
I think so.
Not Sukuna?
I think either way is fine.
I think Sukuna makes more sense.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, pretty good chapter. I can't wait for the next one.
In my opinion.
There's gonna be fighting like a bunch of these army curses. Oh man, it's gonna be so cool. I guess he got away with Gojo. It's kind of a crazy thing.
Is he planning to eat Gojo?
No,
I hope so.
He can't. He can't absorb Gojo because Gojo's not like a cursed spirit, and that's kind of his.
Oh.
Is that
But he mentioned that he wanted Gojo too. Oh no, he wanted Jogo. Never mind.
Yeah, he wanted Jogo.
Jogo.
That's the fire dude
man.
with the volcano head.
He wanted him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, to use his volcano ability?
Yeah, he wanted his fire abilities just cause. He was like
that would have been lit.
Yeah, I mean,
no pun intended.
As long as you're gonna.
I'm not the Dragon Ball Super guy. All right.
Damn, Josh is a heater.
Yeah, this is a pretty fire chapter.
Hard last week. I remember that. But yeah, no, this was a dope chapter, and I enjoyed every minute we spent covering it.
Yeah, I mean, it gives a lot. I mean, it
was a lot to unpack.
This is the longest we've ever covered Jujutsu Kaisen, honestly, because this is the most thought-provoking a chapter has been.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is the equivalent of like that Bleach moment where Aizen went away, and it was like, oh, okay, now we have a goal, we have a ton of villains to look forward to, possibly an organization forming. Wouldn't that be sweet?
Oh man,
a bad guy organization. A ranked organization with a hierarchy and everybody hates each other. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah, right.
I mean, they do have to fight each other for supremacy, I guess. But
I think some of them were cool with each other.
Who?
Nell was cool with
Nell got betrayed by them.
Not all of them.
One of them.
Maybe she did. I forget.
I don't know. But anyway, that was Jujutsu Kaisen.
There goes our Bleach rip for the day.
I didn't hate Bleach. I'll tell you what. I saw this video where someone I don't know. I think it was a promotional video for the anime revival for Bleach, where someone animated like the manga art, and I'm like, it made me want to read Bleach again because it looked great.
Did it?
Yeah, it looked great, and I do like Bleach.
It does look great.
We do shit on Bleach a lot, but I do like Bleach a lot.
Maybe if we read it straight through the Fullbringer arc.
Maybe I've never read Bleach a second time over. Like.
Did you hear what I said?
What, the Fullbringer arc? I'll read the whole thing. I'll read it top to bottom.
Ooh.
I'll read it top to bottom. Maybe I'm wrong,
Riz.
and I'll report my findings. But in any case,
you're gonna be a casualty, man. Anyway,
that was Jujutsu Kaisen. Very good chapter. Let's randomize.
You said, is this ice? Dickhead, is it cold?
Daredevil. Certified very
Wow.
good issue.
Certified VGI.
Seconded? Is that what your seconded is?
yeah, like 2 times 2.
Certified VGI.
Yeah, this is a King in Black tie-in. I think this is the first time Daredevil has ever been dragged into like a main event. Like his main title has been dragged into an event. And it's for King in Black. And it kind of ties into the story nicely. It's pretty cool. It's very much still,
Really nicely.
yeah, it doesn't feel
I
like
think so.
oh, they're just shoehorning Daredevil in. You know, it feels like it's part of the story. But last we left off, Daredevil is in prison now, and Elektra has taken over as the new Daredevil in her fly ass suit.
That bitch from Tokyo.
Yo.
So, you know, we open with Daredevil just sitting in prison, talking about how he's blind and he can't let people know he's blind. So, you know, he refuses to watch TV or read books or, you know, all that stuff. And instead, for entertainment, he just listens to his fellow prisoners' stories of regret, of them boasting for clout, you know, all that shit. And at some point, one of the prisoners comes in and is like, hey, stop fucking staring at everybody, you weirdo.
You're creeping everybody out.
Yeah. And this guy is like kind of nice. He's just like, he's telling him his shit too. He was like, yeah, it's fucked up that you're here with a mask, but I can't be in a mask while I'm in here. Like everybody's gonna know who I am when I get out of here for a cocaine bust in 3 years, and it's gonna be hard for me to start a new life. But cool, you get to wear a mask and have your identity protected and potentially be able to get a job after this. Cool. And Daredevil's like, I mean, you're right, but I don't know what to do. And he walks away.
Nigga said Luke Cage had the decency of showing his face when he beat the shit out of me in the street. Nah, but all jokes
Good call.
aside, he made a valid point. It is what it is. I mean, I think we already discussed this plenty of times, but Matt Murdock got off very easy. It was really weird.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Made sense in the comic book, but
I mean, it's a controversial idea to have a prisoner who committed a crime, but also have his identity secret. I wonder if that's like, that happens sometimes, you know? I wonder if there's like a weird witness protection thing in prisons and stuff for folks. I don't know. I don't know how much of this is an isolated incident, but anyway. He gets called into the warden's office, and the warden's like, man, I'm sorry I didn't get to see you. I was busy with stuff. And Daredevil's like, so yeah, sorry, man. I get it. I know that you're like busy and shit, so I don't want any special treatment. And this warden immediately just brings up some beef. He's like, please, just Mr. Hollis. I believe you knew my son. And Daredevil's like, oh yeah, you're Mason Hollis. And he's like, yeah, you arrested him, you know, for, you know, when he was Crime Wave. But it's cool. I know he was hurting people and whatever. He was hurting people and he needed to be brought to justice, just like you. Daredevil knew immediately, like, oh, fuck.
yeah, this is gonna be a rough 2 years.
So
his facial expressions in like almost all of these panels are just so sad.
yeah, he's like,
But not like weeping sad, like I fucked up sad, like damn, regret.
maybe this wasn't a bad idea. Maybe this wasn't a good idea after all.
Like I'm not saving anybody sitting my ass in jail. I know I fucked up. But
Damn, I should have been running around rooftops. Fuck it. This is a bad idea. The warden's after me. Meanwhile, on the outside, Elektra's hanging a dude over a rooftop. Standard Batman shit that Daredevil also does.
her first speech bubble is, "I will kill you."
But inside, she's like, "No, I won't. I know. I promised Matt."
Yeah, no, I can't wild out like this, but this nigga don't know that.
Yeah, basically. And you know, he basically like says, "Please, I'll swear I'll never." And she's like, "You won't. Not in Hell's Kitchen. If I ever see you again, I'll kill you." And then she jumps off a rooftop, all dramatic like. And you know, a regular day for Daredevil, you know, just walking the streets, and then all of a sudden, a giant fucking symbiote dragon just swoops down from the sky, and she's like, "Oh shit! How did I not notice this before?" While I was interrogating this thug. We then cut to Kingpin, who's chilling at this rich people's event, as he does, as like every rich person in Marvel always seems to be in, just some rich person party all the time.
Yeah.
And Typhoid Mary is his new bodyguard. She goes ham for a while. She goes like a little aggressive. And Kingpin tells her like, "Yo, you gotta chill. I'm the mayor. I'm not the Kingpin right now." It's
Yeah, right. Like, stop.
chill.
Making it mad hot.
We get it. You're cool. We don't need to push it any further. That's when Wesley comes in, and Wesley's like, "Yo, shit's going down outside, Wilson. We have to go now. We got to get you to the panic room." And he starts to explain that, like, yeah, there's aliens everywhere. The superheroes are around doing stuff. But, and that's when the dragon comes down and starts causing havoc along with a bunch of symbiote zombie folks. Poor Wesley gets fucking taken away. And Kingpin is like, "No." You don't see his reaction too much. You just see his face going like, "Oh, fuck. No. Wesley, you're my boy." And I guess this is the point where Kingpin goes on to assemble the Thunderbolts in that other story. But Wesley's not alone in his possession, because Typhoid Mary is also taken captive. Meanwhile, inside of the jail, Matt's just being sad, you know, in prison. And he starts to sense something coming in, just like, I guess he hears weird symbiote goo noise, and he's like, "Oh shit, something's in the prison. They're going to kill us all." And the guards try to fight their best as the symbiote just like pulls up and starts possessing multiple prisoners at once. There's this little scene in this bar, which was kind of jarring transition. Because like as Daredevil's like, "We gotta let me go." We just cut over to this random bar, and I'm like, did I miss a page? But there's this girl who's getting this like minor who's at a bar who's getting weirdly hit on by this dude, and this mom is trying to get her out of there. They have like a little bit of a spat, and they leave the bar to a fucking world of madness, basically.
Well said.
Yeah, symbiotes everywhere. One of the symbiotes takes the mom. It's a genuinely creepy ass panel where like her teeth are like super exposed. She looks like, I guess, like one of the rage creatures from Among Us. I don't know. I think that's what they look like.
Yeah.
You know, no, not Among Us. Sorry. I meant, what's it called? Fuck. Last of Us, I think, was what I meant. But yeah, she starts chasing her, but Daredevil comes through, swoops in, saves the day, smacks the shit out of this symbiote mom, and she basically is like, "I should leave this child to die. She's weak as hell. But you know what? I won't do it, because I'm a good guy now." Meanwhile, in the prison, Daredevil is let out of his cell, and he starts trying to fight these symbiotes, trying to save these guards. We cut back and forth between them and the outside. It's revealed that as Daredevil's fighting this one symbiote lady, Typhoid Mary's symbiote also shows up, and they're going to have a little bit of a confrontation now. Pretty cool. Meanwhile, as Daredevil is fighting, one of the symbiote things Majin Buu's over him and starts to absorb Matt Murdock. Starts to talk to him too. This is like the first time we get to see what it's like to be possessed by these things, where all you hear is like a little monologue. There's like this little dialogue between him and the symbiote, which is actually Null. He's like,
I like how it's like everybody he possesses, he has a personal conversation with. You get to talk to the number one head honcho, the king of the abyss.
mm-hmm.
He was around before everything else.
Yeah, and he wants to make
all of
you
that
better.
Extra shit. And yeah, he has some positive vibes for you to listen to.
Yeah, and he basically transforms man into the symbiote without fear. He's like, I am the new Daredevil symbiote thing. Looks pretty cool, honestly. It's a cool little design. Actually. Very metal. And that's where this issue ends. And I guess it's going to continue into the next week. I liked it a lot. I mean, you know, Daredevil has been a favorite on this show for a long time. And what do you know? They also nail tie-ins whenever they can.
They have, yep. They continue to. This ain't anything new.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said earlier, they haven't been tied into anything like major, in my opinion, like yet. But this, I feel like this isn't the first one, man. It was Thor had that one with Daredevil when he got the sword, and it was very introspective.
Yeah, but it wasn't like his series, you know? That's what I meant.
It wasn't? Oh, it was just
it was like a tie-in.
Daredevil,
yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, it was like a separate tie-in. It was like Tales of something or other. But I remember like the Daredevil story is pretty much the story straight through up to this point. It's almost like they approached him as like, can you please do a Daredevil tie-in for this? And he's like, all right, but it's going to tie into my story. I can also pull a Jonathan Hickman.
Dude, that's fine.
I can also do a Hickman and just make it overall part of my run. But very cool.
Who had the better tie-in? Oh, never mind.
What do you mean? Between X-Men and...
Yeah, but they're not over yet.
Yeah, they have Sword also. I think it's just Sword. I thought it would be like an X-Men separate thing.
Sword.
I don't know.
No, it makes sense though. It makes sense.
I like it.
So it's tackling that. I feel like that's a really nice touch.
Yeah.
That of course it affects the X-Men, but it affects the part that matters. Right?
Yeah, the space people, the space X-Men.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all.
This is a cool ass picture, man.
Yeah, but if that's all, I think we're good to move on. Let's randomize. Black Clover. This is Black Clover, chapter 279, The Door to Hell. Also,
the green one.
It is my really good chapter of the week.
Certified RGC. Certified RGC. Certified RGC.
Okay.
Yeah, good for Black Clover.
That was number 2 for me.
I'll tell you what.
In like second place. I mean, was that also this week's?
Yeah, this is the audience decided really good chapter
Certified
of the week.
RGC. Certified RGC. Certified RGC.
I'm actually shocked. I'm actually really shocked that this is your favorite. I thought the ending of this chapter you would have, I don't know, I guess hated.
I mean, you know, we'll get into it, but okay, so Black Clover won 44% of the vote, which is a pretty substantial fucking margin.
Jeez.
Almost half of the vote. Black Clover fans are high key, even for like kind of a low stakes podcast like ours, they will not rep Black Clover. They would just be
I'm surprised, honestly, I'm surprised that they voted for something other than Black Clover last week. Because
that's what I said. I said that last week,
bro. One Piece was amazing.
Yeah, but like Black Clover fans, dude, they've been voting. Like these guys, Black Clover wins. The audience voted RGC like 90% of the time.
Yeah,
but Black Clover has been really good.
Oh no, I agree.
Been really good.
Hey, I don't blame it. I just think it's
I'm
funny.
gonna fight you, Josh.
I just think it's funny.
Good,
I think
you don't gotta be mad at me.
I'm shouting out the Black Clover fan base because you guys are low key pretty wholesome and very nice. It looks like you guys are, and you're very vocal about this series, and which fits it because Black Clover is a very positive series. I appreciate it a lot. What came in second? I think it was Jujutsu Kaisen actually. Yeah, Jujutsu Kaisen came in at a 24%.
JK, all right.
My Hero came in at 22%. Undead Unluck came in at 10%. So.
Nice.
Yeah, one person probably voted. I don't know. What's 10% of 82? But if you're like a disgruntled Jujutsu Kaisen fan and you want to let us know, let the world know, shout us out. Follow us on Twitter at New Jump City. Every week, vote for the RGC, and we'll announce it every show. But Black Clover is the winner this week. We start off not exactly where we left off because we cut back to Maria Leona, who is cackling over this fucking demon she just destroyed. She may be the only one in this team who's had a legit W, but we'll get to that.
She's just barbecuing this nigga on the ground. He's just still on fire.
Yeah, this dumb demon guy is like,
on the 6 arms looking like Goro.
Yeah.
Just dying in flames.
Yeah.
I like this.
Yeah. So the other like resistant people come in, and I'm like, oh yeah. Oh wait, no, wait. This one resistant guy shows up with the other characters here. There's the chemist girl. There's the one guy, the bronze
moped guy.
Yeah, the bronze mage dude. I remember him because I've been rewatching Black Clover's anime, so I'm trying to keep my mind fresh on these characters. But there's this new guy with Lemillion eyes, and the guy with the eye patch. He's pretty cool. He shows up and is like, Master Yuno has become a skilled wind mage. And he's telling everybody, he's like, don't worry, the prince is here. Our prince. So happy. Next panel we see is literally this little demon who's just like got the cutest face on. He's like
checking out the situations going on.
Yeah, just being nosy. He's the nosy demon, I guess, because he just like pulls up back to Noct and just starts whispering all the gossip he just saw. They're getting the ass whooped. It's crazy. And Noct is like, I see. So pretty cool. They're fighting and they're stronger than I anticipated, even in a complimentary way.
Everyone's winning. Holy shit.
Whoa, I wasn't
go like this.
Oh, these people are actually strong. I thought they were just fodder, but I think we might actually be able to do this without Asta. Psych!
No.
It is mine. So Jack is still cutting up Dante, and Dante, of course, is like, ha ha ha, cool. I'm not dead yet.
Yeah, keep slicing me.
Yes, please cut me up. So, Jack, I guess, obliges. He just continues to cut constantly. And they're interrupted by Japanese onomatopoeia as they're like, what is this feeling? And they start to see roots gathering all around the Spade Kingdom. And he's just like, enormous roots. Gleepoth! And he summons Plumade, the demon, the nosy demon he just saw, to wrap around him and unveil his next form, Union Mode Felis, which is a pretty cool
Ninja Man guidance style.
It's pretty much Ichigo's form when he got. Remember that like one ninja form he had where he had long black hair. I like this form a lot. I think it looks pretty cool. All of Noct's forms are cool. I appreciate it.
Yeah, he even has the Byakugan to go with it.
Yeah, I guess Felis's like main power is that he's able to like see through everything except for smoke bombs, and he looks all the way down in the basement to see Morris, who's down there chilling, and he's giggling to himself. Kick, 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 kick. He says, "Kick,
oh, yeah,
kick, kick, kick,
powering up."
Yeah. And so he starts to think like, so even arbitrary acts of eccentrics can sometimes be useful. He uses the wisdom of the Heart Kingdom to discover a way to accelerate the tree of Kleepoth's growth.
He pulls a bad goggle.
Yeah, he pulls off his glasses, like, to think that in exchange for being born blind, I'd be blessed with abilities like these. The abilities of a devil host. Yeah, big reveal.
I totally forgot who this guy was, though. I'm serious.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm constantly wondering if he'd shown up in an earlier arc, and I just 100% forgot him. But yeah, I mean, he's pretty cool. I don't hate him. So basically, he was using this power. He was able to extract the wisdom from Laura Pachica, and thus making the acceleration of the Kleepoth thing grow. The gate of the underworld just starts opening, and Noct is freaking out. This is the most stressed he's been since he entered the series. And the very next page, it's a 2-page spread of these two fucking demons just standing there waiting for the smoke. It is pretty wild. the next page after that, Jack gets motherfucked into next Sunday. He gets
Yeah.
Rocket to punch!
yeah, he just
Oh
gets,
man,
even Dante's like, shit.
Dante didn't see it happen. They just didn't go for him. That's the only reason he's not going with Jack, right? Somewhere, wherever the fuck he got sent.
Knocked is a little fucked up because he
Not just dodged that shit. He hit the air dodge mid-air right in time.
Yeah, Knocked was like, woo, you're on your own, Jack.
Shit, right?
Yeah.
Like, Bram, bro, you couldn't cut that. I thought you could cut anything.
Yo, you couldn't
thought
say-
you had it, son.
You couldn't say dodge. You couldn't say move. You couldn't get your boy real fast. Your whole characteristic is agility. You couldn't move towards Jack real fast and catch him.
All right, so not only did two devils leak out of the fucking crack in the door, they're devils of the highest order.
Yeah. And man, first of all, one more thing about the Jack thing. I think like on the way he knocked off one of Dante's horns.
I think so too.
I don't know. I think maybe he's not close enough, and maybe I'm bugging, but it looked like he just like went like and right past his fucking
Like inadvertently, like as his knife was out. Imagine he just cut his head off real quick and it grew back, and he's like,
whoa.
"What the fuck just happened? What I just missed? Who was that?
Where am I?
Let me see.
This was my RGC. I really enjoyed this chapter. It's very shonen and in a good way, though. You know, I feel like, you know, I can deal with this little accelerated thing. It picks up the pace a little bit. It makes things a little interesting. I've always liked how the demons are designed in this series. They're very simple, but fucking terrifying looking, honestly.
Yeah, they do look really scary. The one on the left reminds me of the Change of Heart Yu-Gi-Oh card.
Yeah.
Well, both of them together because it had the angel wing and the bat wing on the side.
They both have like opposite big doofy arms where they're like mirror image of each other.
So, all right. This is what I wanted to say in the beginning. When I got to this part, reading it myself, and I read what they said. They were just how they were casually like, "Oh, I missed," and the other one was like, "I hit." And they was talking about how it was just so fun and stuff. I even rolled my eyes. I was like, "Oh man, Chris is gonna go in." But so much to my surprise, he went ahead and gave this shit to RGC. Man, I told you this was my second favorite, but this part was just kind of like, whoa, I didn't know how to take it. I don't know if this is cool or...
Yeah, I mean, I guess like that last panel, I rolled my eyes a little bit, but I don't know. As long as they're not all like this, I think I'll be okay. I'm okay with two pretentious characters, two snooty demons, as long as the rest of these demons aren't like, ooh, looks like we're free. Let's have fun. So, you know, let's not push our welcome. I'll accept these two. But
okay.
I did like it.
Thank you for breaking that down. I appreciate it.
I thought it was a well-paced chapter. I like that. I like the Morris twist. I was like, oh shit, it'll help me remember him more a little bit. I think makes him more of a memorable guy. And that's like kind of an extra added fight that we didn't really expect. Someone's got to take down Morris now. So
True that.
Yeah, it's interesting in that degree.
Free Lilo
Pachica.
Yeah, I fucked that up.
Yeah, I mean it was hard. They changed it to Lolo Pachica, and I'm like, I'm keeping Laura Pachica. That's the one I'm used to. Is Laura Pachica.
Laura Pachica.
Yeah. But anyway. That was Black Clover. Very fun chapter. Very well earned of a double RGC from me and the crowd. Without further ado, let's randomize. The X books. Starting with
here we go.
Starting with New Mutants. We have 4 of these. Woof. Let's try.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it. New Mutants number 15.
We're starting with New Mutants? I thought we were starting with Excalibur.
I thought New Mutants was first, and then Excalibur.
Nah, look at the list.
Oh my god. Well,
Excalibur.
Excalibur. No, it's New Mutants first, then Excalibur.
No way.
I'm looking at the list right now, boy.
Then what about X-Force?
X-Force was the last one.
New Mutants was the one that didn't come out. Like, all right.
Shame.
Okay.
Whatever. At this point, the order doesn't super matter.
I completely ruined the story for me because I read it out of order. I feel like.
I mean, honestly,
not even bothered. Like,
New Mutants does reference other.
You hear
books.
this shit, Brian?
Yes, sir.
It's important. So, I mean,
anyway, New Mutants.
Last we left off, the Shadow King is back, and I was like, "Whoa!" He's out here, I guess, seducing the minds of these children, weirdo. And we cut open to the Academos habitat, the fort where I guess these little kids play, and it's completely destroyed. So, Magic is like, what the fuck happened here? And basically, they wanted the fort, but they didn't want to leave, so, we fought over it, I guess. There's basically a bully situation, and Magic is not having it. Meanwhile, in the forest, Cosmos is like training her abilities. Her abilities is that she can, I guess, manifest her dreams or create dreamlike projectiles and turn people into like these freaky dreamlike objects. It's very dream centric, but it warped her body as well. So that's important.
Borders on the edge of reality warping.
Yeah,
really, a lot of potential with her, I guess.
Yeah. So
for danger.
Yeah, they're training her, to fight basically. And it all seems to be for the Crucible, which is a mutant ritual where mutants who were robbed of their abilities in one way or another, have the opportunity to fight to the death in order to be resurrected with their powers back. And that's what she's trying to do in order to gain a normal body back. And Shadow King is the one who's training her to do this, who is a villain. His full end game I'm not sure of, but we'll find out at some point, I guess. So, back at the boneyard, Dakin is talking to Aurora. They've had a little bit of a thing over the X Factor books. Kind of lets you know, is like, hey, all these books are important, so give us your money. I'm like, fuck, you're right. So yeah, Scout shows up, and who is a clone of X-23, so a clone of a clone, if you will.
Clone of a clone, yes.
Mm-hmm. And technically, I guess the younger sister of Dakin as well, being as how all of these characters are originated from Wolverine in one way or another, except for, Dakin is an actual, like, blood son of Wolverine.
Yeah, like a legit son.
Yeah. So, yeah, basically, he's trying to get it on, but she's really cramping his style. She wants to hang out with her brother. And he's like, not now, I'm busy. God, we'll hang out at the party and we'll play Claws Out. It's kind of a cute moment, though. It's like, the little familiarity. It's not something I'm used to seeing from Dakin, seeing as how he was a villain way before, right before this Hickman era. So, it's pretty cool. We get a nice little scene where all these kids are learning to do these combo moves with each other, syncing up their powers in one way or another. And I guess Scout is not really fitting in with everybody. I guess she's new to this or new to Krakoa in general. So, everybody's kind of weirdly cold to her in this way. We cut over to the Academos habitat where Danny and Rain are talking about how they won't resurrect Rain's son. I didn't know she had a kid.
Yeah, man. She looked young as hell too.
Yeah, I guess it's because she's like small, like she's like very short.
A grown ass woman.
Yeah, she has a son, and her son was killed. Her son was apparently fucking
presumably.
Yeah, she was fucking with Hela, which is Hela and Strong Guy. I guess this was. Strong Guy's a mutant, by the way.
Oh, Strong Guy killed him.
I guess so.
I know that much.
Yeah.
That is Strong Guy.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
Which is interesting for reasons we'll get into later. But, Yeah, she's basically like really upset that the council, or I guess the five, have her son on basically a backlog. And she's consoling with Danny, and Danny's like, we'll find a way to get your son back. It's kind of crazy that he's not.
Nah, he's not even on cue.
Yeah.
So they're trying to basically they're trying to figure out exactly what happened to him, because he may not even be dead all the way. Maybe he's alive on another level.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it all goes to, because I think she doesn't have the proof yet that he's dead. Like the one way.
Yeah, that's the key here. Yeah,
Yeah, because the reason X Factor exists is to find that proof, and there's so many fucking mutants that have to fucking be resurrected, and there's so much of a backlog that even X Factor is kind of backed up. It's kind of wild. It is kind of a sad story because some people have to wait for their loved ones, and other people kind of get them soon. And a lot of people have been resurrected and moved up in the queue, I guess, in terms of importance. Like if an X-Force member dies, they kind of have to be brought back because of their importance. But yeah, meanwhile, back at the Green Lagoon, turns out Doug Friend and Bay the Blood Moon are actually having a wedding reception, official one. One of the weirder decisions from Ten of Swords, but that's cool. They're actually for real married, and they're sticking to it. It's a nice little wholesome scene. Dakin Scout tries to reconnect with Dakin. There's a scene where, Danny walks back up to Rain and tries to console her. Is like, hey, I'm sorry about earlier. It fucking sucks. If you want to leave, we can go. You don't have to be here. I know there are more important things right now. And she's like, no, I want to stay. This is our friend's wedding reception. He's one of our original teammates. We got to be here for the boy. And that's when Cosmos shows up and asks Moonstar Danny if she would do her the honor of facing her in the Crucible so she can get her body back.
And then, literally immediately after she asks, this nigga puts it on blast to let everybody know, oh, she's about to do the Crucible and ask Danny to slaughter her. Right? Am I right or wrong?
This child is asking Danny to put her to the death. Fight her to the death.
I was like, yeah, fuck this wedding.
Yeah. Imagine that, having your wedding reception upstaged by a child asking a full-grown adult to murder her in combat. But yeah, basically, it's she explains that, like, look, I'm proud of you for asking because, like, I guess it's an honor to do this kind of thing, this ritual. But the Crucible is meant to heal mutants who have been robbed of their gifts. And then she goes on to say, like, you don't need the Crucible. You're perfect. Nothing's wrong with your body. And internally, like, Cosmos just kind of breaks down, because, like, obviously she's warped by her abilities. And,
like, sure, she's completely healthy, maybe, but, like, she looks like a fucking action figure.
Yeah.
Something like, I don't know.
Yeah, and it's condescending, or, like, it's weird to be like, you're beautiful just the way you are, when your cheek is, like, this huge and you got a fucking giant eye bulging out. It's kind of understandable that she would feel this way, like she's being talked down to. So she's like, man, and she runs away. Danny's like, oh, no, wait, please stop. And, she just fucks off. Everybody tells her to not think about it, give her time and her space, and they'll talk to her tomorrow. And everybody just kind of goes back to the party. And meanwhile, Shadow King is there, invisible, I guess. And is like, to young love and the youth to a great future.
So here's what's interesting, man. Did you notice that in some of these panels, the Shadow King is there in the background?
Yeah.
Like in a lot of them.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, like he's just there, low key.
Yeah, he's there the whole time.
Yo, that's crazy. Now, is he really invisible, or is he actually
I guess
there?
so. I don't know all of Shadow King's power set.
I mean, all mutants are allowed.
He's not a mutant,
Except
though.
for Wanda,
He's a parasite.
Huh?
He's not a mutant, though, right? He's a parasite.
No, he is. I believe he's a mutant.
Brian, Google Shadow King and tell us if he's a mutant or not. And also, what of his powers?
I've googled him before. He's kind of like I think I don't think it's confirmed that he's a mutant per se. He just really likes to possess mutants. He's like a parasite. Like I mentioned this before. He lives inside of mutants. Like,
yeah, he himself is a mutant, but the Shadow King that possesses Farouk, I think his name is.
yeah,
No,
Farouk
Farouk.
is a mutant himself,
Yeah.
and then the Shadow King, he's just a vessel for the Shadow King.
Right.
So that's why, like, maybe they allow Farouk to be there, but maybe they don't know that the Shadow King is still present there. I mean, they allow fucking Vulcan back, and he's got a lot of wild shit in his brain.
Yeah.
And he's really dangerous. So Apocalypse is dangerous. Sinister, come on, he's the worst.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think the Shadow King is a entity, right? That's his thing. He's an entity that possesses
The
Omega
Shadow
level
King
mutants.
itself is objectively a bad thing and,
Yeah.
and a danger. It's just that they're going to deny him just because he may be possessed. That's not right, I guess.
Well, if they even know he's there, I mean, I don't know his powers.
I think
That's
he's
why I wanted to
invincible, though. I
ask
think
you,
you're
Brian,
right.
if he's got any. Because I know Farouk, that wasn't his abilities, like invisibility. So if the
Farouk was a telepath.
Yeah, so if maybe he has the ability to like block himself from people's minds, or maybe Shadow King himself can choose to be seen or not seen. I think like he'd be too traumatizing a figure for them to just be cool with him around, you know?
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, I never seen the story involved with him before, but it's very well noted that.
I watched
that.
Legion. That's how I know about him. It's from Legion.
Oh.
Apparently Farouk was on the same level as Xavier. Like Xavier fought him and defeated him, but it was like really big deal kind of fight, you know?
The Shadow King itself is a multiversal threat.
Yeah.
Not just universal. Like it is that strong. So
Yeah, that guy's on the same level as he's on the same level as Professor Xavier's son. At least that's how it shows on Legion,
Yeah,
where
Legion,
And Legion's showing up again at apparently.
comparable to the Phoenix almost. Like he's really strong, or the Void.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but yeah, that was New Mutants. Pretty good issue. I guess like the stakes of the Shadow King are pretty interesting for the New Mutants because
How he fits. I mean, we can obviously see he's manipulating this girl,
Mhm.
and a really strong mutant girl at that.
Yeah.
Who probably is a universal level threat anyway.
Yeah. Our next.
New Mutants.
Hell yeah.
That was a fun chapter. There's a lot in it.
Yeah. Our next issue is Excalibur number 17. Last we left off, the Excalibur team has ventured into the other world to find Betty, or Betsy, who has not returned with the Captain Britain Corps. So they're trying to look for their universe's Captain Britain. Meanwhile, in London, Peter Wisdom is chilling, eating some chips, and he is approached by one of the Coven Akaba, which is one of, I guess, Apocalypse's boys, right? No, they're the bad guys. They're like the bad magicians. I got them confused with, I guess, the externals, but no, these guys are the Coven Akaba, who are just like dickhead humans with magic powers. And he shows up to fucking this M13 office with full cape, all dramatic, and is like,
Oh yeah.
so
In the suit.
he's like, so I heard that fucking Captain Britain is not around. And not only that, we've had several Captain Britons, not of this country, which is fucked up. I don't like
All
it.
heathens.
All heathens, all Americans. I don't like it. Go do your job and find out where Betsy is. And Peter's like, all right, basically. And yeah, he goes off. Meanwhile, in a familiar place, modern time, unfamiliar timeline, seems to be another dimension. Our Betsy Braddock wakes up with a angel errand boy around, and she's basically in a universe where Betsy is the Queen of England at the time. And she's not pretty stoked about it. She's like, I need to go back to my home dimension. It's not good that I'm here. So, after some banter with Angel, she's like, I gotta get out of here. Let's go to where the the lighthouse should be, I guess. And Angel's like, well, I can't go with you because I'm late for some kind of board meeting or something. So you'll be traveling with Quanon, my ex-wife.
QAnon. So,
QAnon.
hey, did you look at her teeth, by the way?
Did I look
That looks like the Starlight Sword in her teeth.
You're right. Yeah, the Starlight Sword. No, it's a good catch. I didn't catch that at first.
I just caught that now.
So yeah, Quanon's outside.
QAnon.
And QAnon is outside. And she's pulling on her gloves like, let's fucking go. Like, because she used to be married to Angel in this universe, and she's not too keen on doing him favors, it looks like.
Yeah. Angel's ex-wife he's asking his ex-wife to help his new girlfriend out.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not a great sitch. Very awkward. So we cut back to Krakoa, and the team seems to be moving into the lighthouse to kind of wait for Betsy in a way. Like, if she ever comes back, they figure she'll end up at the lighthouse first. So, you know, I guess after the other world provided a dead end, you know, they just decided to play the waiting game. They link up with Peter Wisdom, who's already there, and, you know, they all follow each other over there.
That's to do with the suit.
Yeah. Meanwhile, at the King James Memorial Intelligence Center, which is actually the lighthouse of whatever universe Captain Britain is currently in, she's out there. They're ready to descend and do some stealth stuff, but Betsy is like, okay, I have some questions for you. Would that be cool? I feel pretty awkward because of our history together, but, you know, I want to ask you some things. Meanwhile, back at the lighthouse, they start just getting under attack by the Coven Akaba, who are not fucking around apparently, and just, you know, try and destroy them. But I guess Excalibur fights them off pretty good for a little bit. They're looking for Betsy. They're violently looking for Betsy because I guess they need a Captain Britain in this world. Like, they're doing it very aggressively, and I'm like, I don't understand the point of just fucking shit up just because Captain Britain's not around. So back at the other alternate universe, QAnon agrees to answer 3 questions for Betsy. First question: is Pizzagate real?
That was nice.
Second question:
All right.
are all Democrats blood-sucking aliens?
That's when QAnon promptly responds with, "You wasted that one." So, of course they are. Next one.
Duh.
What's your last?
No, basically she asks, so is Krakoa, is there a Krakoa in this universe? And she's like, yeah, I mean, no one ever goes there, but it exists.
That old island. Sounds a lot like Genosha.
I mean, Krakoa's always been around, but, you know, this is the first time they've inhabited it as a people.
True that.
Unless you count the time where Wolverine literally built his school on Krakoa. Then that's a different story.
Well, if I go back and read what is said again...
No. In this universe, nobody lives there. But it does exist.
She said that old mutant island. I think it's a place they once lived at and probably don't really anymore.
Yeah, I mean, either way, it doesn't really go into specifics, but they're like...
Yeah.
So she then asks, how's her brother? And her brother is apparently Captain Britain. Brian Braddock is apparently head of the British space program in this universe, so he's not Captain Britain here, which is interesting. And then the final question is, have you always lived in your body? Because if you know, Betsy has always inhabited the body of Quanon. So, and they just recently got separated, and they've been pretty awkward about it. So I guess Betsy's still feeling guilty about inhabiting another person's body for the better part of X amount of years that she's been inhabiting this body. But yeah, she basically just starts apologizing, and Quanon's like, dude, just let it go. I don't want to talk about it. I'm letting you go. I don't care. Listen,
all right.
Don't make me angry. I mean, I don't want to just go down this road with you. Just fucking go. And she just keeps pushing it. She's like, I'm sorry. She's like, fucking go. Basically has to force her through the portal. And right as the Excalibur is like fighting these guys and kind of getting a little overpowered, it looks like, that's when Betsy Braddock finally reemerges. Like there's this big explosion, and she rises from the sea right by the lighthouse and collapses, and is like, "All right, back off our dicks. She's right here. There's your Captain Britain. Jesus." And that's where the issue ends.
Yeah, that was clutch. Right on time.
Right on time for the tactical retreat. So I guess next issue, the Coven Alcaba will just leave them alone.
Yeah, so I don't... All right. I was... At first, I was so not excited to read this book. And then, as I read it, as I looked over the pages a second time, just to brush up on the X-Men knowledge, and after watching a few videos, I think there's a lot of exciting potential here. So I can't really speak for the rest of the Excalibur crew, but as far as Betsy Braddock is concerned, that's not their Betsy. I don't think that is. I think that's the Queen.
That's interesting.
I think that's the Queen, because that's not what... I mean, the biggest... All right, the two biggest things to me is, first of all, what she's wearing. But, like, the first thing that came up weird to me was that she's saying help. Fuck does Betsy need help for? She knew she was
fell to the
teleporting through a... Come on! She can't... I guess maybe teleporting leads a week, but... She's saying help. She's not saying anyone's name. She's not establishing any type of connection.
You know what? I'm starting to see
I don't know. It gives me... I'll tell you this. I hope that's the case, and perhaps Betsy is going through maybe a different reality. Maybe she has to... I like the idea that maybe she has to go through a few worlds to try to get here. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not so simple, and that maybe we'll learn a lot along the way. Because otherwise, Excalibur, I don't know, man. Ever since Apocalypse left... I mean, it wasn't a stellar series, but even prior to Ten of Swords. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So...
I mean, you got me thinking about.
Maybe I'm being hopeful.
No, I think you're right. I didn't even think about that before. I think you like stumbled onto something that I didn't. Her clothes are different from what she was wearing in that, and that Queen from that universe is missing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I guess they'd have to have switched places, and maybe Betsy will have to go through a couple worlds in order to get back home. Yeah, that's a good catch. I really didn't notice that. It was that does make this a little more interesting. That it's not.
Yeah, Captain Britain is all about multiversal travel. That is what this series has been about at its core, which is so ironic because it's Captain Britain, which sounds like it's just isolated to this one little island country, at most Europe. You know what I'm saying? At best, the Western world.
Yeah,
but
I guess like also you know maybe because Camelot is also very like British medieval times type of deal. So you know who knows. But in any case, yeah, I mean that adds a new layer to it. I'm excited about it. I wonder what's gonna come from this. Our next X book is Wolverine number 9. Last we left off with Wolverine, it turns out that there's this weird Black Ops squad that has been digging into the past of Wolverine and also looking for the mutant known as Maverick. By doing so. So Wolverine's trying to figure out who these people are and what do they want with him and Maverick. So he's going.
Is Maverick Marvel's answer to that dude that is now in DC?
Which dude?
Ah man, come on.
Oh, Grifter?
Red mask, yellow hair.
Grifter? No, I don't think it's. No? I don't think it's a direct. I would imagine that Maverick's been around for a while, as has Grifter. So.
Okay.
Neither are new characters. I don't imagine. But in any case, last we left off, Wolverine is just arriving to this auction. He opens the door and he's immediately searched. They pull out the little Krakoan earpiece that he uses to communicate with Krakoa.
Unknowingly. But
yeah, it looks gross.
They got it nonetheless.
It looks gross, so they flick it off. And I guess he goes in without a contact. You see a bunch of different villains scattered around this auction. Kingpin's there somehow, and I'm like, aren't you the mayor? What are you doing here? The Verende kids are there, the former Hellfire.
Yeah, they're there. Mm-hmm. Some of the X, the Order of the X.
Yeah.
people are there, the ones that worship the mutants.
Yeah, that's a good one. This is like an invisible person in the background if you really look close enough. Yeah, I mean, there's a who's who of villainy here, and the auction starts, and they're offering various like random collectibles from the Marvel universe over its time. There's a Black Widow cyanide pill because she's hardcore spy. There's a prison painting from Jigsaw. There's the Goblin Glider, like Captain America's original cowl from when he was fighting in World War II. There's the gravestone of Spider-Man, and there's also, what is this? The gloves of the Magnetic Man. And finally, the last thing up for auction is the severed hand of Wolverine.
With the claws out.
Yeah, which I thought was pretty cool. I was like, whoa, that's fucked up. Wolverine does not take this well, though. He does not think it's that as cool. So he immediately like cracks a glass in his hand, and this lady in the audience just like peeps him real fast. He's like, wait, that guy looks suspiciously like Wolverine, and her glasses just have him in the Wolverine costume already. Like, oh yeah, that's him. So, I guess she's like, well, this is pretty fucked. And finally, the final thing up for auction at $20 million is the mutant known as Maverick. He's been mind wiped, so he's basically, they're buying him as a fucking hitman for hire slave guy. So, I don't know what his powers are exactly, but he's pretty cool if he's associated with Wolverine's old edgelord days.
Yep, of Weapon X.
Yeah, not Weapon X. Team something. It was a different team from Weapon X.
Strike Force X?
No. Team
I don't
X.
remember, man.
It's Team X. It's not.
Team X. Okay.
I mean, X folk aren't creative. They're just like, they'll just slap X onto things. X.
Maybe it all means 10.
Whoa. 10 men? This entire time it's been 10 men?
Weapon 10.
So apparently Maverick has an anti-healing factor thing.
What does that mean?
Like from his list of powers, it says anti-healing factor corrosive blast.
So he doesn't heal and that's his power?
Maverick, that's one of his things.
You'll have to explain what an anti-healing factor is.
After Nord was forced to join the latest incarnation of the Weapon X program, he underwent a procedure that altered his kinetic absorption ability. So now he can channel that energy into corrosive blasts that, I guess, stop healing factors from going.
Oh.
Or some shit.
Okay. All right. Fine.
So I guess that's how he's a Wolverine villain.
Yeah. So yeah, the bidding starts to go, and Wolverine's like, "You're not taking him alive, ace." And everybody's like, "Oh shit, Wolverine's here." The mutant worshipping folks are like, "Yes, Wolverine." Kingpin is like smirking a little, like, "Cool, Wolverine's here." This lady this is the X-Desk lady. I just realized that. The lady in the wheelchair who peeped him, I think she's the X-Desk person.
You think so?
Yeah, I think
Didn't she end up like sliding? Oh no. She didn't. She doesn't like them.
Yeah, no.
The other person actually.
So yeah.
Are you talking about the person that met Storm on the train?
No, that was somebody else. But this is another X-Desk person. I think I could be wrong, but yeah, Wolverine's like carving people up, but then he gets caught by the auction guy using the gloves of the magnetic man, whatever his thing is. And he flashes back to his time at Team X where they used to torture him and shit. And he remembers the time where Maverick basically like encourages him that, you know what, we're going to have our day one day, Today is a victory over yourself of yesterday. And I guess that's a pretty cool statement. It's a pretty cool mantra to live by. And he starts repeating it to Maverick in the current time to try and wake him up from whatever spell he's under. And it works. He just grabs the magnetic guy, the auctioneer guy, and he's like, "Let's get the fuck out of here" in all of their '90s glory. It's like, yeah,
Oh yeah. 90s explosion next Wolverine.
Yeah,
Can't wait.
I liked it. I thought this issue was pretty cool. One of the better Wolverine ones so far. It hasn't really caught me up to this point, but I feel like this is a good one, and I'd like to see him and Wolverine tear shit up. I'm here for it. Anything to say before I move? All right. Last X book is X-Men itself. This is X-Men number 17. This kind of just starts off a brand new story. The long or short of it is space has been a little more unstable lately. The inheritor for the throne of the Shi'ar has been kidnapped. So Deathbird gets into contact with the X-Men in order for them to find her and save her. And the X-Men all have cool new outfits, I guess. I guess Cyclops and Marvel Girl do. I like this color scheme on Cyclops. I think it's okay. I like this. It's okay. So they go over to Chandelar, which is the throne world of the Shi'ar Empire. They meet up with the Deathbird and all of their cohorts, and Jean Grey does like a mental scan in order to find out who had like if there were any co-conspirators to the young princess's abduction. And basically she's like, I'm not looking for somebody who's like, who I'm not looking for the truth necessarily, but the person who's like trying hard to find the truth, to hide the truth. I mean, like she understands that there are people who are probably trained in avoiding telepathic attacks or invasion. So she's trying to look for who's doing that in particular. And she finds some random goon who it was the entire time. And they basically blast her open and they're like, oh shit, who is this? It looks like it's a Stygian. And Deathbird is like, oh, I know who this motherfucker is. And guess who arrives? But I don't know who this guy, his name is Urg? Something like that. He's this big Cyclops, cyborg-looking guy with a gun.
He's got a cannon arm,
Yeah, cannon arm.
Pretty.
Yeah.
I liked it. I thought this was one of the better designs
I think it's cool.
from this art. I'm not gonna lie, I was gonna save it to the end, but I didn't care for this art. Like, you want to talk about this? Literally looked like it was ripped straight from the '90s, and not in a good kind of way either. Like, it looks like they pulled somebody that has not drawn, who has not put pen to paper. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'll tell you what.
I'm going in. It's cool, but it's not my cup of tea.
Yeah, that's how I feel too.
How about that? Yeah.
I know this artist well. His name is Brett Booth. He actually drew on the first New 52 incarnation of the Teen Titans when they came back. Not my favorite.
Very sharp.
You know what it is? It's just like, it's very indicative of, like, I guess 90s art, which is like, it feels too busy. Like, so many characters have so much.
Yes.
Like, there's so many little ink movements on it. It's like trying too hard to look scratchy and sketchy, but it just looks like so much. It's not my favorite. I feel like less is more these days in comic books, and it's not my cup of tea, I think, either. But I don't think it looks bad, really. I don't think he's a bad artist, but he is very 90s. But yeah, his name is and he wants to fuck shit up. He doesn't like the Shi'ar, and they're these tyrants that, I guess, I don't know. He's not really like that important himself. The X-Men show up, they fight him for a while. Cyclops gets knocked the fuck out, and Storm basically finishes this dude. After turns out there's been an army of Smashers developing, which is cool. But yeah, they beat him and they save the queen, and essentially they decide to do with this guy. They're like, they're not going to take it out on the Stygians in general. Instead, they're going to make him basically an ambassador. This religious guy, make him a politician, which is apparently the worst thing you can make a religious person, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, his point was like, man, our people, like, not just all the people from this area, like, our entire race of people have been at the heel of the Shi'ar Empire's boot. You know what I'm saying? And it's fucked up, and shit's fucked up in space right now, and we're, of course, we're the ones that had to hold the L immediately as soon as he think. Because, basically, that was his position. We've been treated like shit. Then shit hit the fan for y'all, and y'all completely deaded us and said, oh well, sorry, we can't help y'all.
Yeah.
So he was rightfully upset, but I guess you don't go try to murder somebody.
Yeah. I guess.
To make that happen. But I'm not going to get too deep into it. It's fucking X-Men in space, bro.
Yeah.
I
guess the important thing is that Storm has earned favor from the Shi'ar. So,
yes.
She's on their good side, and I think that will probably come out later down the line. That'll come into play.
Absolutely, man. Especially given that Sword's a thing now.
Yeah. The next page is like a 2-page spread where it's like, we're letting you vote for who's going to be joining the X-Men officially. And the choices are Banshee, Polaris, Forge, Boom Boom, Tempo, Cannonball, Sunspot, Strong Guy, who killed Rain's son, Strong Guy, Marrow, and Armor. Armor is on like 3 teams, and so is like Polaris at this point.
Yeah, I want to see Marrow.
Marrow's cool. He looks like Kimimaro from Naruto.
Yeah, that plus I remember them from the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 game. I always thought they looked really dope.
Marrow? Marrow's in Marvel vs. Capcom? I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, in number 2. They had mad characters in that shit, son.
Nice. I didn't know that. But
they had the Silver Samurai too, I think.
Yeah,
they had a lot of people.
All right. Well, those are the X books. A fun group of books. X-Men wasn't like the blockbuster awesome, like, oh, what's next? That I thought it was going to be the election stuff, but I guess they're leaving that to us, and they'll settle that in a couple months, because I believe the next issue will finally deal with the vault and the mutants that went into the vault. If you could see the little teaser.
Finally.
I'm like, yes. I've been waiting for this fucking plot point to resolve. But yeah, I'm excited for it. Anything to say before we move on, boys?
The X books were interesting this week. This X-Men book in particular has probably been one of my least favorites out of all the other ones. Usually the X-Men books are always really solid.
Yeah.
Like these, I mean the actual X-Men series for those following. I know you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Out of all the sub-series. This one, I don't know. I wasn't feeling it.
Yeah, it was just like kind of a
I feel like they kind of rushed the whole, all right, we're real cool with I feel like they was already cool with the Shi'ar Empire, and this was kind of like a real quick, okay, now they owe us a favor, and that's how we're going to use them as a quick plot point at some point to advance things.
Yeah.
I don't know. You read comics all the time, you see it real easy, and you get jaded,
Yeah, but anyway. Right. Yeah, that was the X books. Let us randomize.
Oh, shit!
Dr. Stone. This is Dr. Stone, chapter 182, Diamond Heart. Last we left off, the kids have created a stealth ship in order to covertly avoid Stan Lee's radar and also be able to study the Medusa little mechanisms more closely. They take them apart, him and Zeno. They take each part apart, like every piece apart, and they examine each one. And inside of the Medusa, just as Joel reported earlier, there are blackened diamonds, which they basically say that, okay, this must be the battery source. So let's see if we can find one that isn't fucked up. That isn't like
a really small battery, by the way.
Really they're small fucking diamonds. Tiny. Tiny diamonds.
Yeah, they're not like mad huge diamonds.
Yeah. So they managed to find one and they test it out. Well, first of all, Kohaku uses her fucking crazy eyesight that I keep forgetting she has to look into the Medusa and find a clean diamond. So
Bayakugan.
Bayakugan. I gotta make that a sound. So she says 1 meter, 3 seconds, and then she tosses the Medusa. It doesn't work, which is like, whoa, what was that? And Zeno takes a closer look, and he sees like that there are cracks along this tiny diamond. So you need a 100% perfect diamond in order to make these work, apparently. So basically, that's what the next mission is. Create diamonds using alcohol, tungsten, electricity, filament, and diamond, which makes a limitless Medusa. Yeah. Perfect Dr. Stone. And he's kind of
So we can just make diamonds now? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah. Yeah, if we work hard enough. Senku says anybody can do it. In this really cool moment where like he's also relaying this information to the people in Zeno's camp, and everybody's like, we can't fucking do this, and it's like, no man, there's a process to this. You know, anyone can do it, whether sinner or saint. Following the same steps yields the same results. That's the point
that's science.
of science.
That's mathematics.
That's mathematics.
That was a really good point. Yeah, I did actually. You know, I really did like this chapter, and I think that was why. It was really inspirational.
Yeah. So they fail at first, but you know what? They get back up, and they're like, no, it's like he said, science isn't just for eggheads, which is why we can do it, which is I very much appreciated that about Dr. Stone, is that like for kids who read this series, it makes it seem like, you know, science is not like, you don't have to be a genius. You don't have to be Senku in order to do science. You know, you could do these little experiments on your own. Maybe not this one specifically because it pertains
really
to fire.
dangerous.
Yeah, it pertains to fire and alcohol. It'll fucking blow up. But you know what he means. You know, he's trying to get back at.
I mean, specifically, I like how they did mess up, and they, you know, as soon as they mess up, you know, a few of them start to say, man, we can't figure this out, and that's when she kind of gives her little speech. But I thought that was really dope, man. It was like, man, what, we are going to back out because we fucked up one time?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought this was just going to be super duper easy. Come on.
Yeah.
That was realistic.
I liked it, but
yeah.
Yeah, they continue to work through the process, and at the end of the day, they finally create a diamond. Really tiny one, but a diamond nonetheless. And they can finally run their test to see if the diamond is actually if the diamond is really part of the power system for this thing. And that's what's going to happen next chapter. Yeah, it was, I mean, you know, whenever Dr. Stone gets into its like more positive, you know, message for kids, that science is for everybody, not just smart boys and smart girls. So yeah, it's a pretty cool chapter, to say the least. You guys ready to move?
Yes, sir.
It's time to randomize.
Oh, good.
Undead Unluck. This is Undead Unluck chapter 48. A story I won't see coming. Last we left off, Fuko and Andy finally managed to return from their world. But we see that Unrepair is actually not alone in fighting Unknown. Ano, I guess his name is. And he's getting sick of waiting. He is unseen. And unseen actually kind of comes up earlier in the series. He's the first negator that we see Unrepair take, and apparently he's had him join his team.
Yeah, I didn't put the pieces to that together until like just now, actually.
Yeah, because I think it was assumed that Unseen was actually killed, so we actually didn't know this. This is a cool little twist. But yeah, Unseen is tired of waiting, and he's like, if I kill this Brett, then I'll nab a seat higher than yours. So, and fuck you, you opened up my stomach anyway, so I'm out. I'm gonna kill this. I'm gonna kill this lady. We cut back to Ano's flashback, and he starts to think about like the time where after he got serialized in the magazine, he started thinking about the memories, and he's like, man, I gotta find out if it's real, you know? The memories he got of Undead Unluck's story in general, and he's like, I gotta find out if it's real, so I know where he's supposed to be in this time, so I'm gonna go to that place. And wouldn't you know it, he just runs into Andy while he's learning how to use his katana and do this cool move that he does. He's like, shit, he's real, and he can't see him at the time, which is interesting. I'm a little bit confused as to how Unknown's power works, really. Like, how do they know him now, but they didn't know him back then? Is what I'm a little confused about. But yeah, at that time, you know, he's like, cool, I mastered the quick draw technique. And he starts to fuck off. And the samurai lady that's like teaching him this move is like, you've mastered all our arts in just one short year. I won't let this immense talent slip away. Don't you please stay here. I want an heir to continue our legacy. And Andy's like, okay, but only.
She said, "With you, I'm sure my late father would be pleased." I was like, "Whoa, shit!"
Damn. And she
You see the shorties in the back are like, "Oh,
whoa,
so bold."
so bold. And Andy says, "Sure, if you can outlive me." And he just walks away. He says, "See you around." And she cries. It's a sad moment. I wonder if we'll see her again.
I didn't get that, but I knew that. However he said it, it was basically going to be an L for her.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if she'll show up again. I feel like they didn't introduce her for nothing. And she is a negator in and of herself, apparently. Because, or is that true? I don't know. It's hard to imply, but basically, he goes on to think that negators are always suffering, and he flashes to the different members of the Union, Billy included, all suffering their various issues. I guess unrepair we see here, when he lost his eye, I guess. And
yeah,
he said, although they struggled with the negation powers so unreasonably thrust upon them, they still fought to kill God. And finally, we end up with Victor over a dead Jewies. I think that's how you pronounce her name. And he realizes
Jews.
if this thing works out like I think it does, then they lose in this reality. So I can't allow that to happen. So that's when he gets the idea to use the manga to relay kind of messages of the future towards them, and
in the attempt to change things up.
Yeah. So the first thing they do is that he decided a while, like right there, is like the top priority would be the autumn battle, which we just saw, and in order to make that work and to maybe change something there, because that's like a branching point. So if I can fix things there, then things can be different. He finds the little Excalibur thing that he uses to get Fuko into Andy's memories, and we cut back to the present on December 5th. Today, on this very day, this is where they were supposed to lose the entire time. Is that
to Autumn, right?
No, to Unseen, because Unseen is the guy who kills Fuko, which allows them to lose basically because they need Fuko around. So Akira warns Andy. She says, "Deadline now," and Andy is just like, which is cool. Trusts him implicitly. Is like, okay. Does this cool like spinning sword thing. Unrepaired dodges it, but he's not the fucking target. It is Unseen, who just gets very crazily split in half down on the ground. He is dead, and this is the end of what he knows and the start of a story he won't see coming. Well, I guess that
he ain't gonna see the rest of the story yet either. You're about to die, bro. Two arms in one day.
I mean, he seemed to have taken that first arm really, really well. So maybe there's a little bit where he's like, I'm gonna stick around for a while longer.
You know what this reminds me of? I just watched Pineapple Express last night, and I remember when Red at the end of the movie, he got shot like 7 times or whatever. All this extra shit.
I've never seen Pineapple.
And he did.
Pineapple Express. God. Sorry. I don't know why I thought you said Polar Express, and I'm like, whoa.
No,
someone got shot 7 times in Polar Express.
Like, I don't remember that.
I'm like, there's no way.
Man.
No, Pineapple
Express.
Express.
They were dying, and they were so cash about it, basically. Like,
yeah, that was really fun.
Santa's a drug dealer.
Yeah, no, I remember Pineapple Express. But what were you saying? Because this guy keeps getting fucking cut up, and he's like fine. And
like the next chapter, they're gonna just be having a conversation, and they're gonna be like, "So, should we bring you to the hospital, or?" I mean, you're gonna be like, "Nah, man, it's fine. This is my time."
Yeah, I'll just go here.
Cool.
Yeah, cool chapter. I thought it was pretty cool how like they brought in the Excalibur. Like he knew that he would need that, and it makes it less of a convenience thing that he has this item, more that he intentionally seeked it out in order to use it. I don't know what the past tense for seek is, but seeked doesn't feel right. Sought it out. Is that the right one?
Sought it out. Yeah.
I can talk. I swear.
Better than I, that's for sure.
But that was Undead Unluck. Cool chapter. I can't wait to see how this all resolves next week. Any thoughts before we move on?
Bro, we've saved the best for last? Question mark.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, I guess we should move on to the best for last. It is time to randomize my hero.
RGC.
Academia.
MBH.
Well, this is Brian's really good chapter of the week.
Certified RGC. Certified RGC. Certified RGC.
Now I'm gonna ask you boys to be civil, because the MHA community doesn't like it when we have hot takes off the bat. But yeah, this is chapter 298, The Sounds of Collapse.
Wow. Fitting title.
So we get this little flashback of a panel. I don't really remember where what's his name? Skeptic is like talking down to the League of Villains, is like, we gave you the money, the video doctoring, Toga's new coat. So, why are you being so indignant? It's like, yeah, well, it's because of us that your fucking boss is in a hospital bed. And this is it turns out that while the raid at the Jakku hospital was happening, one of Twice's clones of shit. I know his name, damn it. Redestro.
Redestro,
Yeah, one of Twice's clones of Redestro pulled up to the safety commission and just attacked the safety commission, which is pretty crazy. I think like the whole thing was to kind of distract the heroes or to at least like put a thorn in the side of the rescue heroes that the safety commission, I imagine, is in charge of to a degree. But yeah, it's weird. He's like, this is the system you've built. Your law and order, I suppose it was necessary, but we seek order without order. True freedom through liberation. The seeds are already sown as his clone melts away.
That's a little... I don't know. Maybe something went over my head.
That's how I felt.
Read it a couple times too.
Yeah, that's how I felt a little bit. I know he attacked the safety commission, which is pretty bad. I mean, you need those folks. These people are the ones who, I imagine, coordinate rescue heroes. And
I thought that they were just another hero agency that got attacked, but they're like an information.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
They're the guys that you have to answer to if you're not doing your job, I think, right? Isn't that what Aizawa had to talk to them for? Like he was on trial for them?
Well, they proctored one of the license exams. You remember that? They were the proctor for the rescue phase. Remember when they had like the old people, like the crisis?
So they're essentially like the police, or like the office police.
They kind of ensure that heroes are prioritizing saving people.
Okay, specifically of hero. Okay, I see.
Yeah,
they're the brain trust of the operation.
As
far as the heroing period. Okay, yeah. I'm glad I understand that a little bit better now.
Yeah. 6 hours after the attack of Tartarus, a couple other prisons are actually broken into by the Near High Ends and a few other villains.
And all for one in his actual body.
All for One in his actual body seems to be escaping from Tartarus using one of the guards there, because these planes seem to be operated by biometric ID. So he, I guess, takes over one of their bodies and makes them fly it for him. And at 5:04 a.m., he seems to be talking through Shigaraki and basically saying like, "There, the groundwork is laid. The sudden rash of violent escapees should hamper the authorities pursuing me. So, just guard Shigaraki." He basically talks to Skeptic, Spinner, and Dabi, asking him to guard Shigaraki while his body rests. And Spinner's like, we got along more than I thought, bonded over gaming and stuff, but you're not the guy I agreed to follow. And One for All says, hey, have no fear. I have great respect for his will. This body simply needs time and rest to be perfected. But once it is, our desires will come to fruition.
These 2 pages, it's so funny, bro, because the first page was where I was at the peak of my excitement for this chapter. And then the next page was the lowest point.
Why?
Of me. But I guess I'll try to make it brief. Basically, I feel like this is being kind of hand waved as far as the dynamic of, you know, them following Shigaraki and being at unease over this dude taking over Shigaraki's body. I feel like, I guess we'll see what happens next chapter or in the next few ones, but I don't know, man. After the end of this chapter, I didn't catch the vibe that we was going to get more villain activity anytime soon, but it doesn't mean that stuff can't be fleshed out and explored more later. So
Yeah.
I'm not really that upset. I just thought we was kind of leading towards that, like, now in this chapter, and then that was kind of it.
I thought the opposite actually, but I think I'll get into it when we get to our thoughts later.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll listen to what both y'all have to say actually, because I did want to talk to y'all about it.
We then cut to 2 days later where Bakugo wakes up. He's alive! Yeah! We're not losing our secondary main character.
I thought he was dead for sure, bro.
Yeah. But it's good he's still
Totally
here.
wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I guess his development is not over. It'd be weird if he just died there, but yeah, he's alive and everybody's thrilled to see him alive. And then he's at the Central Hospital, turns out, the best state-of-the-art, top-of-the-line medical care facility. And he immediately just asks, what about Deku and Todoroki? Which is nice that he seems to care about both of them now in a genuine way. And he then asks for our sensei and our senpai and Endeavor. What's going on? We then get little flashes of the other heroes that we've seen in the battle. Gran Torino looks like he is in rough shape. Man, this is going to be a fucking gut punch if he goes. Aizawa's okay. He's just got one eye. I think probably from now on he'll only have one functioning eye to use.
And he's also missing a leg.
Oh, right. I forgot his leg got cut off.
Well, he didn't get cut off. He cut it off himself.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Gangster.
I mean... Oh, wrong sound. Damn it.
Turn down for what? For cutting off your own leg?
I mean, if there's any point to turn down, it's when you're about to cut off your own leg. But yeah, they're basically sitting there, and man, President Mike is like, man, even Kayama, who is Midnight, he's like mourning her loss as well. And Aizawa's just like, I just want to know how the kids are, man. And Todoroki's bandaged up, man. He got fucked up by Dabi, so he's just sitting there. Everybody's like trying to console him and comfort him. Endeavor seems to be in like surgery right now, so he's not doing fantastic. And at that moment, Todoroki kind of remembers that one villain they fought, who mentioned that his shining light beckons the dark. It precipitates our demise, almost as if to say, like, yo, this guy was predicting Dabi directly, that he'll have something to do with Endeavor, and it'll be kind of Endeavor's fault that this character exists. And he starts to think about it, man. He's really just, these are like realistic thoughts that I would also have kind of in that situation, where it's like, man, his flames are stronger than Dad's, and I couldn't win with firepower alone. So, you know,
were they stronger than? They were stronger than Endeavor's?
Yeah, Endeavor mentioned
he had to fight Nomu. He had to fight against Shigaraki at max power before he got his fucking quirks removed from Aizawa Sensei. Like, I don't know, man.
This isn't new. This isn't new information. Like, even Endeavor himself said that Toya's flames were stronger than his, or had potential to be stronger.
Yeah,
than his.
he said that when
it's just that he inherited the ice body, like an ice body that can't withstand all that heat.
Yeah,
so that's the drawback. He's stronger than Endeavor, but his body is weak, essentially.
So
okay,
yeah, and Todoroki kind of draws up kind of a comparison to him, because Todoroki also had like this weird, like this crazy rage against and resentment against his father, justified, but still he finds that similarity is like, Dad can't do it. I have to be the one to handle my brother Toya. And I'm like, let's go. At that moment, that's when his brother and sister pull up to visit, and a shadowy figure, which is almost certainly his mom, which will be a very heartwarming chapter, no doubt. At that moment,
that's his mother. That's not his sister.
That's
oh
his
no,
sister.
the girl with the hat is his sister.
Yeah, but there's a shadowy figure in the back.
Oh, but the shadowy. I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, at that moment, Bakugo is just like making a fucking racket everywhere. He's just trying to run towards Midoriya's room. Everybody's trying to stop him. And he's like, he's dead meat if he thinks he can die on me. But yeah, Todoroki and the other, I think Sero mentions, he flashes back to Sero basically explaining that Todoroki and the others are conscious. At least all of them except for Midoriya. He's shown no signs of waking up. So
also, it's really weird that Deku's mom isn't there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know.
No, but it's been 2 days, right? Like,
well, we don't see the
she
whole
should
room.
be there.
We don't see the whole room. She could be just like around.
I would say
so.
the artist maybe should have included her there for the dramatic effect.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I'd
I
say
mean,
that.
she could be in the building getting
Yeah,
food.
I think so.
I
I don't care regardless. I just feel like, if I'm going to agree at all with Brian, it would be from that perspective. Like, that
Yeah.
would have been a nice added touch.
Yeah, All Might is by his side though, and that's where the chapter ends. A very interesting foreboding thing for My Hero's future. We were very much talking about what is next for the series, and I feel like there's a little bit of a clearer picture of what's going to come. And if I'm right, I hope I'm right. I think like it's a more interesting perspective. But if you guys want to go first, the floor is open.
I guess I'll go first since I RGC'd it.
Yeah, go for it.
This chapter basically, from my perspective, it set up the groundwork for the future of heroes, right? Like, it's basically like, so think about it like this. Every time they talk about All Might, the world before All Might, it's always been like chaos and like order was barely held. Like nobody could really stand up. Even previous One for All users couldn't stand to One for All. I mean to All for One. So then All Might comes around and he basically ignites hope and creates a world where this is like everything's structured. Heroes have advantage, right? So they built a system around all that, and this is the system falling apart. Like if you think about it, ever since All Might stopped being the symbol of hope or the symbol of peace, things have been slowly undoing. Like all of his progress that he achieved while he was a hero was pulled back. Slowly but surely, and then this was like the final nail in the coffin, right? This is like the end of all the progress that All Might did for the Hero Society.
Yeah.
So this is basically setting up Deku's return to be the person who restores peace and hope, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, for sure. I definitely see this as a chapter that's, like that. After the huge event that just took place, they're trying to let everyone chill out, relax, but also give you an idea of what to look forward to in the future.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that leads into maybe what you were going to mention earlier, Chris, about like the 2 pages where you said you had felt opposite from me, where I felt kind of, I guess, like, what's the word? Not too enthusiastic for what's coming next immediately. It was the 2 pages where I had mentioned I had high hopes, and then I went to having low hopes.
Yeah.
It was Spinner. Remember, Spinner mentioned something, and I'm a huge Spinner fan, generally speaking. I want to see more from him. I want to see what he's about. He seems to kind of be the heart of the villains, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, for sure.
And I like that, Like, he's not dumb. He just really doesn't... He's critical. Anyway, I'm not trying to break down his character. It was just cool that he was kind of, like, checking All for One, and he's like, bro, like, who the fuck are you? And the guy is just like, yes, don't worry. So I don't know. I'm just reiterating how
Yeah.
I felt, but I'm starting to think about it a little bit more now, and like they're gonna follow up on that. Then that's not gonna be something that's not gonna be checked up on eventually. It is.
Yeah.
I just want more. I want it now. I want to see that happening now.
Yeah, but if you like, this is the main. I feel like this chapter mainly, its main purpose was to set up the future of My Hero Academia. Essentially, it gives people motivations. It switched like the pedestal of power. You know, now it used to be the heroes, but I honestly
Now it's a little bit more up in the air.
I'm like trying to think about it, and I'm like, the heroes have so much shit to deal with right now. Like it just feels like this is a very villain-sided situation right now. Like once Shigaraki's rested, it's back to heroes being on top again. Like, because right now they don't have a real symbol of peace right now.
Villains.
Their number one hero's out of commission. Next person in line is Best Genius, and he can only do so much, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier that we were talking about, you know, what's next for My Hero. Is it barreling towards the end, or are people like, is Horikoshi trying to tell us like this series only has a finite amount? And I don't know. I feel like this chapter kind of like assured that there is a lot left. There are like
so much more. Yeah.
There's a ton of prisons that were just exploded, meaning there more than likely be a lot more villains to face off against. We may not see our core group of League of Villains, but we will have like some familiar faces in Muscular and people like Moonfish and an Overhaul to a degree, and there's these new guys that we might see the near high ends. I feel
Overhaul,
I don't know if we're gonna do a time skip. I feel like what I hope will happen is that Midoriya will probably like be out of commission for like a handful of chapters, and the rest of the cast will have to deal with this strange new world, and Deku will wake up in a brand new world that's completely unfamiliar to what he did when he went to bed, you know? You know, maybe Torino dies in this time, maybe
honestly,
maybe All Might dies in this time.
Honestly, I am not too against Deku going into a comatose-like state, you know, for a couple of years. Honestly, I'm not against that, because if you think about it, like Deku's was developing almost absurdly too fast during this arc, right? Mm-hmm. Like he unlocked 2 quirks, he pushed his body beyond its limits, and they made it very, very clear that if your body isn't ready for these abilities, there's going to be big ramifications, right?
Right.
And he kind of broke every rule in the book, you know, like he used jump quirk, he used like the spider sense, not just once, not twice, 3 times, and it was already having a toll on him during the combat.
Yeah, he was blasting his bones apart with the super strength, because I mean,
and he overused his super strength. So like, there has to be a big ramification. Like his body has to be going through a shift at this point. Like there has to be ramifications for it. And I wouldn't be opposed to him going into a comatose state and having Bakugo take the front seat, or Todoroki.
I'd rather him be comatose than it be the development like, Midoriya, you did too much and now your arms cannot be used. Yeah. Like, I don't want to see my main character be mostly crippled.
Yeah.
Is that ignorant?
No.
Is that prejudice?
No, it makes sense.
You sure?
Yeah. No.
But I think it's probably going to lead to...
There's no wheelchair superheroes, guys. That's a problem.
Well, Oracle.
WizKid.
No, I'm being facetious. Let me stop. Oracle. Oh shit! Yeah, you guys are on point. All right.
Is WizKid?
You know our stuff here in New Jump City. We're closer.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Here's what I think. I mean, what I think will happen is that Midoriya will probably wake up sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
What I hope will happen is that we do get some side, because that's one of my least favorite things about My Hero, is that there isn't that much based on the cast. It's like, and I mean, it's hard to do because
I get Naruto PTSD, bro.
I mean, it's hard to do because there are like a class size cast here where you can't.
Whose fault is that? That's my fault.
No, it's you gotta.
It's your fault, bro.
No, I mean, like I don't expect
that added all of these people.
I don't expect every single character to get like an arc of their
No,
own.
of course
but
not.
I hope to see
Of
some
course
cool moments from Class 1B, and Shinso and
Big hand schmacker.
Big Hand Schmacker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's an interesting
You know
time
what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, yeah, Kendo.
Big sis? All right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting time for My Hero, and we were on and off and hot and cold about this series for a lot of the time during this war arc. I feel like I'm mostly into it, and I'm very excited to see where it goes. I feel like we're 1-4 with My Hero Academia predictions, so that's kind of a positive thing, is that we can't easily predict what's next.
Yes.
But
man,
I'm
Prison
just-
Break arc, huh?
I'm just glad.
I'm not
that-
even mad at Brian or nothing. It would have been cool. It's
yeah,
alright.
we're probably like, I think
He
the
did
only
see
thing
Stain though. He did see Stain. He did go to see him. That's
Did
something
he?
that happens. So that's still a plot point.
no, he didn't.
Am I not?
He didn't
Didn't
go
he say
yet.
I have to go to the prison?
He said
to
he
do
had
something?
to, but he didn't go yet. Well, he'll
What
probably
if
see
Stain
it.
stays there?
Oh, we'll probably
and
see
waits
Stain
for
now.
All Might.
Stain probably bounced, dude. Stain
I
didn't want to
mean,
be caught.
Yeah, he's gonna
I mean,
find All Might.
All
himself
Might.
and be like,
I mean,
"Whoa."
One for All is still in the prison, right? Or All
Oh.
for One?
All for
No,
one
he's
left.
out. He's out.
He's out.
Well,
Alright.
that's
He's
another
gone, bro.
interesting
They're out in
thing.
the woods somewhere. He's
Yeah, that's another interesting thing, is that they're not going to link up immediately. So there'll probably be time where All for One is not going to be like with Shigaraki, and he's probably going to be making moves on his own, which is kind of cool. And he's probably got some villains with him as well.
Yeah, he still has fucking Shirakumo and
Yeah, it seems like Shigaraki was returned with just the Nomu. Because I didn't see like Muscular around him or nothing, so he left him pretty much with Skeptic, Dobby, and
Yeah.
Spinner. So yeah, he's got all those guys on his side except for maybe Overhaul, who bounced. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
yeah, that was crazy.
Lots of cool shit.
But my main thing that I loved about this chapter was kind of establishing some motivation for Todoroki. You know, like before,
Yeah.
like Todoroki didn't really have an aim in this series until this Toya thing happened, and I know a lot of people were like, "Oh, why didn't he just straight up fight Dabi and shit like that?" But he didn't have a like true motivation like at that moment still, like, and now he has something to light his fire essentially.
Well,
like,
I'm okay with the excuse that there's a lot of shit going on around that battle, and there's probably a lot of confusion, and it's pretty shocking to hear that your brother has been like a fucking mass murderer for the last few years. So and plus Dobby's stronger than him at this point. So it's not like he was sitting around doing nothing. He was overpowered by him.
he even burnt his throat, so he can't talk.
Yeah, it's a rough thing. Yeah, it's an interesting time. I mean, that's all I gotta say. I'm here for it. Is what I'm saying. My Hero Academia is like, it's hard to disparage it really. Like as a whole, it's very much a wait and see kind of series, and see where he's going with this. Hopefully, he slows it down, and we get a little bit of development within a lot of characters, and we see a lot developing within the world even. But who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, I hope we get more like worldwide heroes coming to help Japan. Like we
Yeah,
get
they think, like,
other
Jujutsu
people from other
Kaisen.
countries.
Maybe it's a lot like Cursed.
Japan doesn't have a monopoly on all the super peoples.
Maybe it's a lot like Cursed Techniques, where that it's a majority of.
No, there is
Majority of
heroes
it is
across
in
the-
Japan.
Yeah,
in
Yeah,
My
didn't
Hero
they have a movie
Vigilante.
when this dude was in America.
yeah.
Yeah, My Hero Vigilantes. There's a guy who there's a hero that comes from America to Japan to like repair his image.
Nice.
So
Go, we gotta
Oh.
read that, huh? I think.
Yeah, we do. We have to read Vigilantes, Brian. You tell us.
I feel like we.
I
have
mean,
to.
you haven't went out of your way to be like, guys, yeah.
Vigilantes
It's a
is a real
decent
depth.
series. You don't-
tell us.
No, it's
it's
not
a
that I didn't
decent
like it.
series. Like you can read it.
No,
like,
I
it's
need it to
more
be
fun.
real serious for me to have to read it, bro. I'm
I've read
sorry to add that to the lineup.
Yeah.
No, not the lineup. I mean personally, just for me to go out my way and
Yeah.
catch up and shit.
It's not always serious, but when it has its arcs, it is a very decent read.
I'm just waiting on you to
Like,
tell me. For
it
you
puts
to
a lot
just
of-
Brian.
pull up and be like, yo, I ain't gonna lie, you should start reading.
Yeah, pull the trigger, Brian.
You
Be
know I'll
definitive.
take it. Yeah, you.
I-
I mean, I'm just gonna assume at this point that just hasn't happened yet, where you feel like and that's fine.
I think the newest arc. I think the newest arc is actually pretty interesting to read because it's more All Might centered, like pre-injury and all that shit. Like you get to see him in action and stuff, and how him and Dai work together and all that. So I think it's a good read if you want like more context for how this world works, like how the Hero Society works, like before all this shit happened and during All Might's reign and stuff. So I mean, it's a good read. It's like you get to learn more about the world itself and all that, but there's a lot of like jokey stuff in there, so
yeah,
it's not always 100% serious.
I'll say this last thing about Jujutsu Kaisen because I keep or My Hero because I keep thinking of things I wanted to say about it from my notes is I feel like this and Jujutsu Kaisen did a very similar thing where they were both establishing the futures of what's to come for their series.
Yeah,
they both kind of do the same thing where like there will be new villains and you'll have to fight them.
So, they set the groundwork for each other.
Yeah, so it's a very set the groundwork chapter. I mean, All For One said it himself. It's like the groundwork is laid. You know, we did it. That's all I got to say about My Hero. You guys ready to call it?
Yes, sir.
Joshua?
He exited stage left.
Well, well then. Oh, here he comes. Yeah, well, that has been our show. Thank you guys so much.
It was a fun one, too.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Oh, well, my bad.
Wait, what?
I said, my bad, man.
No,
Messing your flow up.
Hey, buddy. It's all good. It's all good. Thank you guys so much for listening. You can find me at the Chris Espinal, Josh at JDCole_37, Brian at B.ESP on Twitter and Instagram. Follow the show itself at New Jump City on Twitter and Instagram. Take part in our weekly audience chapter of the week, really good chapter of the week. Audience poll comes up every Sunday, so follow us for that. You can comment below if you have any questions, suggestions, anything you guys want to talk to us about, or email us at newjumpcitypod@gmail.com. We'll read your comments in the relevant series that you refer to, and it'll be fun. If you want, please give us a 5-star review on iTunes, Spotify, follow us on that, Amazon Music, everywhere you listen to podcasts, we're likely on it. I think that's it. Subscribe, all the cool online influencer shit that you say. This chicken guy.
Yeah.
Bro, this chicken guy. I can't believe we went a whole. I can't believe we covered this.
I feel like that chicken guy was a reference to something. Like, I don't know why. No.
What the fuck?
No, to something. There's Brian. See if you can find if there's a reference guy while I finish up the plugs. Do it real fast.
Chicken doctor.
Do it real fast,
Bro.
Japanese chicken doctor.
Japanese chicken doctor.
Yes.
I don't think
That's
we'll
also
have
the
time.
title for this episode. I
Japanese chicken doctor. Okay,
Yeah.
I like it. I was about to call it the other one. The thing you called kendo, but Japanese chicken doctor is funny.
All I'm seeing is restaurants and meals.
Damn it, Brian. Okay, next week we'll come up with the origin of the Japanese chicken doctor. But thank you guys so much. You guys are
The
awesome.
debut.
And stay safe, New Jump citizens.
Page 10. Bottom left corner is where you'll find that.